Hello guys, welcome back. My name is Nathan and today we are going to be talking about the confirmed all-Canadian NHL divisions and my predictions for the full standings and the full points totals. Now, the NHL Canadian division has been a thing that's been rumored for quite a long time, pretty much since right after the bubble ended and the Tampa Bay Lightning won the Stanley Cup. But Pierre LeBrun has come out with a tweet basically confirming the divisions we'll see, and I'll probably make a full video about all these predictions tomorrow, so subscribe if you're not already. But today I wanted to focus on just the Canadian division itself and how the order might go. Now, what do I see and who do I see as the best and the worst teams in this Canadian division, and how do I see all these teams lining up by the end of the regular season? Watch till the end for the full predictions and the full Canadian division picks, and hit that subscribe button as well for more hockey content just like this one. Now, sorry about the kind of makeshift setup. I was recording the Nail Yakupov video and all that, so I still have all the different stuff back here, and I just went out of the shower, so I'm not exactly the most prepared for this one, but I wanted to get my predictions out as quick as humanly possible. And although we don't know the final rosters for all these teams, I think it's pretty safe to say that most of these teams have made the moves that they're going to be making. Of course, we got 7 teams in the Canadian division, or at least the rumors, still not officially confirmed by the NHL, but pretty much confirmed by every insider out there. You got the Ottawa Senators, of course, you got the Calgary Flames, Toronto Maple Leafs, Montreal Canadiens, Winnipeg Jets, you also got the Edmonton Oilers as well. So 7 total teams in that Canadian division, and to be honest, I don't think there's any true number one team that's going to absolutely thrive. I think this is a division that kind of hurts almost everybody involved besides maybe the top teams. It's very interesting, but we'll get into it. Obviously, the NHL has come out and we're going to see a 56-game season, so not a full 82-game season, but that was kind of expected by when the NHL season will start, which is on the January 13th date. And with this season, I think especially this Canadian division is going to be all-out brawls, all-out rivalries throughout the whole season, and I think we'll see that in the final standings. Now, again, there's 7 teams here, and I don't think there's any true number one team. But we're going to get into my last place team, and it's pretty obvious. Besides the top teams not really being too obvious, the bottom team is pretty obvious here, that being the Ottawa Senators. Now, I'm sorry, Sens fans, I think they're going to make some good progress this year, and actually be a lot better than they were last year, but I still don't see them getting pretty high in this lineup. I mean, they struggled to get high in the Atlantic Division. The Atlantic Division was incredible, but this division is full of teams that are at least very, very solid. And for the Ottawa Senators, they're just not quite there yet. I think we'll see some good youth resurgence, but by the end of the year in the 56-game season, I think we'll see them get a total of 48 points. Be in the bottom 10, but not be as bad as they were last year, which for the Ottawa Senators is pretty great progress. Going on to the next team here, and coming in at number 6, this is a team that I still think has some good potential, but the problem is they're in the Canadian division, and I think this will kind of put them down a little bit, that being the Winnipeg Jets. Now, I'm just going to say this right now. Connor Hellebuyck can replicate the season he had last year, then I think Winnipeg could be a playoff team in this division. But that's a big if, because Connor Hellebuyck was godlike last season. I think had one of the best seasons any goaltender has ever had. That Winnipeg defense was horrific. I do think we'll see Josh Morrissey bounce back defensively. I think we'll see Dylan DeMello come into more of his own, but I still don't think they have enough, really. Now, if also Patrick Laine were to really rebound with potentially, let's say, Paul Stastny is that true number 2 center for him, maybe that works out well, but in this Canadian division, I see them at the end of the year getting 61 points, being a solid team and being over a point per game, but just not enough to go against those Canadian matchups and those Canadian rivalries and end up at the top of the mountain. Then going on to my number 5 pick, and this is a team that I also have a pretty hard time gauging in terms of how much they're going to improve or potentially decline next year. Coming in at number 5, I have the Vancouver Canucks. The Vancouver Canucks are a fascinating team to me because I think there's going to be some big improvements on that team, but also some pretty big downgrades. I think you'll see guys like Elias Pettersson and Quinn Hughes continue to get better and better, and I think they'll still be a very good team and will likely make the playoffs. The problem is Jacob Markstrom is a humongous loss. He was great for them last year. Chris Tanev is a pretty big loss. Tyler Toffoli was a pretty big loss for how good he was in the playoffs and during the regular season for the Canucks. Some pretty major losses, all things considered. And they kind of had to make those losses happen in order to for guys like Elias Pettersson or Quinn Hughes, but that still doesn't make them a better team. They've still declined in quite a few areas. So I think for Vancouver, they're still going to be a playoff team, still going to be a good team, but this might be a transitional year to where guys like Elias Pettersson, guys like Quinn Hughes get get more and more power, more and more control, and we'll start to see some of those cap hits go away where the Canucks can actually use some flexibility. Let's hope. Then going on to my number 4 spot, I have the Edmonton Oilers. Edmonton is also a team that I had a tough time going on. By the way, 65 points I have as the total, or no, 64 for the Vancouver Canucks. For the Edmonton Oilers, I have them finishing with 65 points. To me, Edmonton will once again be very solid. I think in some areas, like the Vancouver Canucks, we'll see them improve. In some areas, I think it's going to be a little bit worse, and the health concerns of Oscar Klefbom are a major thing. That power play might see a major downgrade because of that, and also the goaltending tandem is still not good. I mean, Koskinen is all right, but Mike Smith is absolutely horrendous, and they never really had any signs of fixing that. I do like some of the moves they made in Tyson Barrie, and he will obviously be on that power play. I keep forgetting him. He'll be the number 1 guy on that power play. And then for Kyle Turris, he could have a rebound year there, especially if he also gets power play time. I could see that happening. So I think overall Edmonton has some pretty good upgrades, but just not enough, I think, to once again be at the top of a division like this. They could prove me wrong and could be at like the number 2 spot, but I'm not sure if they get as high as number 1, which I'll talk about in a minute. But then going into our top 3, with Edmonton getting 65 points, the next team at number 3 gets 67 on the year, that being the Calgary Flames. I really like what the Calgary Flames did this offseason, and I think they're a team that is bound for a little bit of a rebound year, most notably because guys like, Johnny Gaudreau, who had a little bit of an off year last year, I think will rebound next year, get a lot more luck, and will be back to his true self. Sean Monahan also can get a lot better. Maybe Mark Giordano bounces back a little bit more there. Maybe Noah Hanifin finally goes out and breaks out like he should. And there's quite a few factors there. I think Matthew Tkachuk's once again going to be incredible. The goaltending will have a major upgrade, and that's why I see Calgary being a pretty solidified team in that top 3. Jacob Markstrom is a humongous upgrade over what they had in Cam Talbot and David Rittich, and I think he'll give them some stability that they haven't had for a pretty long time. So I'm pretty excited for what Calgary can bring next year, and I think they're going to be a pretty fun team to watch both in the regular season and in the playoffs as well. Now going on to the number 2 spot and number 1, I have the 2 biggest teams in the Canadian division, the Montreal Canadiens and the Toronto Maple Leafs. And I kind of go back on who I see getting the number 1 spot, because I think both of these teams are going to do very well in the regular season. Playoffs wise, I'm not 100% sure, especially with the Toronto Maple Leafs, but I think both teams are very competent, and I think will be the top 2 in the Canadian division. But coming in at number 2, tying with the Calgary Flames, but getting the tiebreaker at number 2 is 67 points, my bad. At the end of the year, I have the Montreal Canadiens. To me, Montreal made some pretty fantastic moves, just like Calgary, and although I'm not sure they're clear-cut the offseason winners, because I think the old Edmonton contract is a little bit much for my liking, still, the Tyler Toffoli signing was brilliant. I do like the additions also that they have gotten in the depth, and I think Montreal is just going to be a good team going forward, especially with the rest that hopefully Carey Price will receive with Jake Allen in net. So I'm expecting some pretty good things from Montreal. If they continue the way they played in the playoffs, I think this is a team that has a lot of potential, and who knows, maybe it could potentially get first if Carey Price continues to be awesome, just like he was in the playoffs last year. Then going on to the number 1 spot, I have the Toronto Maple Leafs. And to me, it's between Toronto and Montreal, but I just see Toronto being the more clear-cut option here. I have them finishing at the moment with 69 points, 2 points ahead of the Montreal Canadiens. And I just see Toronto doing very well, at least regular season-wise. Again, the playoffs are always a big question, but in the regular season, I do see them doing quite well, especially if they're able to keep health. If Austin Matthews has a full season, if Marner has a full season, if Tavares and Nylander have a full season, then I think that'll be huge. But the additions of TJ Brody, I absolutely love. And even in the depth side of things, I think Joe Thorne's going to be good for them. Wayne Simmons is going to be good for them. Even Jimmy Vesey, I see, could potentially get a spot on that lineup. The big thing is still goaltending for me. I'm not sure where Freddie Anderson lies in this place of his career, but if he is able to be fully healthy and Jack Campbell's able to be that true backup, then I think he'll get a lot more rest and hopefully he'll be a lot more prepared for that playoff time. But either way, I see Toronto doing fantastic in the regular season, not being one of the best teams in the NHL, but definitely being top 10 and being the number 1 team in the rumored but pretty much confirmed NHL Canadian division. But that's gonna be it for today, guys. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed, hit that subscribe button, join the Grav gang, hit that like button as well, and hit that notification bell if you want to get notified on all the new videos. Make sure you comment down below, what are your thoughts on my predictions, what do you agree and disagree with, and who do you see being the worst and the best teams in the Canadian division for the 2021 season. Make sure you share this video with your friends, get the Canadian division alert out there, and click on this card for my full predictions and full picks right in one playlist. My name is Nathan. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next video or stream. Goodbye.